her time wisely and well and used her gifts to serve God. She was a worker for the kingdom. What do you want your grandkids to remember about you? Well, whatever that is, every day you have the opportunity to work towards that. So use your time well. You're older, you don't have kids anymore, you have more freedom and more flexibility, and you can do a lot more with your time than your children can. So use it well. It's not vacation time just because you're older. It's still life, and we still are running this race for Jesus, and we still need to use our time for Jesus. So whatever role you're in this case, we're talking to grandparents, use it, use it. Support your children in their decisions. I kind of touched on this already. We're all different, and we're all going to do things differently. You really shouldn't bring anything up to your kids about, we need to talk about how you do this, versus what you think, unless they're like harming the grandchild in some way, emotionally, physically, or spiritually. If there's no harm being done to the grandchild, it's probably a battle that you just want to leave because it's none of your business, first of all. And second of all, the child's going to be okay. Like, God is sovereign. If a parent, we'll just use the same example, only wants their kid to watch 30 minutes a day, that's not going to harm the child physically, emotionally, or spiritually, or mentally. So don't choose that battle. Now, if you see your children spanking and rage, then definitely bring it up to your child, and even that, when you do, very, 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 very carefully and thoughtfully, and pray about it and write it on a paper, because you don't want to cause tension and conflict. Everybody, you know your children better than I do, so you know how your child wants to be approached about something. So use that, if it's something serious that actually has to be talked about, the rest is for you. Okay, so anything other than something that's harming is just for you to respect and support, and not throw in your thoughts or opinions unless you're genuinely interested. Unless you are being positive. So don't throw in your thoughts and your opinions unless they're asked. And besides, when they're not asked, just be positive. If you don't agree with it, or you don't like it, or you would do it different, then just don't say anything. Talking really, really, really gets us in trouble very often. I mean, just read the Proverbs. Our mouths, we just need to be quiet sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that you can't discuss differences in opinion, but really think about whether it's necessary or not, and use the question system that I already talked about, instead of just sharing all your thoughts. Because, again, when you're just sharing all your thoughts, you're only thinking about yourself. When you're asking questions, you actually care about what other people are thinking or feel, Don't be easily hurt or offended when your children and grandchildren don't include you in something. There will be other times that you are included in stuff. A family needs, and I put needs in all caps with like 20 lines underneath it, family needs their time. So be supportive of that, encourage that. A family needs their time alone. The family unit is a very, very profound thing, and even though grandparents are amazing and they're a blessing and they are part of the family, they're everything's different when the grandparents are around. When a mom, dad, and kids are alone, things arise and come out that don't come out when anyone else is present. It's a very special, special time, and grandparents need to allow that time. If they don't, they're interfering with many opportunities that parents may have to converse with their children about deep things. Children don't want to talk about deep things just whenever the parent wants to. So on many occasions, children will bring something up. I mean, sometimes my kids will just say, "Can we talk about God right now?" And I'm like, yeah, drop everything I'm doing and let's go talk about God right now, Well, they have never done that ever, ever, when we're not alone. So if a grandparent's, not allowing a family unit to be alone and share their time together as a family, they are interfering in what could possibly be opportunities lost of good, profound conversation. And the older the kids get, the more important that is, I think. When it's infants, whatever, But already when they're like 3, 4, 5, 6 and older, like it's time to really, really encourage that family unit to have time alone. Very important times of the day are meal times. I mean, statistics show, so many statistics, just how children that had a meal a day, at least one meal a day, sitting at the table as a family, interacting together, talking, allowing to share their minds and their thoughts, are a lot more stable, responsible, less rebellious later in life. And so, don't call your kids during their meal times. Let them have those times to sit and interact together. And of course, you can be there sometimes. So when you're invited, that's great. But just allow that and encourage that. So much more to say. Live out the gospel. That's a note I put. And then I put 2 more things. Remember what it's like to be a first-time parent. Looking back now, after raising children, you may see lots of things that are so not worth stressing over, and that's because experience has taught you that. Just like me, I only have a 4 and a 3-year-old, but I look at first-time moms and worried about, what do I feed them? Oh my gosh, should they be sleeping? How many times should I change their diaper a day? And I'm like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, But if you approach it like that, like, how is that encouraging to the person going through that? Everybody has to walk through what they have to walk through. That first-time mom is not going to find any comfort in me telling her, oh, it's all right, they'll figure it out, at all. I need to give her practical advice. I need to be gracious and allow her to walk through that stressful time of knowing how many hours should my kids sleep a day. That's just a normal first-time parent thing. And that just will be the whole entire time that you're watching your kids raise their kids. You've already been through all that. So you already know what's worth worrying about and what's just like, whatever. Be gracious. If it's not worth stressing over, don't let them know that. Just let them walk through it. They're walking through it because they're going through it for the first time, and they'll be where you're at one day. So just be gracious, even the things that are not a big deal. That's just how first-time parents, what we have to go through. And then I already talked about retirement. I put retirement, ? You're still a believer. You still must use this time in your life to serve the Lord. And what are you, going to do to serve the Lord in this time of your life? You have a family to invest in. You have a church body to invest in. You can volunteer. You can disciple women. I mean, there's so much to use your time for. You're still running the race as a Christian. Retirement is an American made-up nonsense thing that doesn't exist. Vacation doesn't exist. When you're a Christian, you're living for God, and that is every day of your life, sharing the gospel, living out the gospel, showing the love of Jesus to the world, and living out the role that you're called to live out. So I hope this is encouraging. I did see one website that has a lot more stuff that they talk about, and it's really good. It was crosswalk.com under the grandparents section, and it was just really good. I think it was like Godly Grandparent or something like that. And I actually read it after I wrote all my notes. So some of them, they're a lot more profound on the website. So some of them might kind of touch on the stuff I talked about too, which is cool. I felt kind of proud of myself. But anyway, I hope this is encouraging to you grandparents, that you still have a high calling from the Lord. Live it out, embrace it, enjoy it. Find joy in the season that you're in, that God has you in. He is so good. Have a wonderful day.